Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Let's get IG on over here. Oh, wait a minute. Oops. There we go. I know I'm always getting this wrong. Good afternoon, everybody out there. Good afternoon. IG. Waiting for these folks to get on. There you go. How are you guys doing? Hi, Inez. Hey, good afternoon. I don't know, how is the lighting today? I don't know. Sun looks great, but I'm not sure if we got enough lighting up in here. How are you guys doing on this lovely Tuesday afternoon, guys? Here we are once again having some wonderful information for you guys on your small business. I am truly excited to be having this discussion today. All right, so great. How you guys doing? I'm trying. Thanks for jumping in here on IG. Okay. So today, hey Laverne, how are you? Hi sis, how are you doing? Thank you for jumping on. You guys hit like and share. Get some of your folks on board. Get some of your folks on board. Hit like and share on this video. Hey sis, thanks for tuning in. Okay, so hit like and share, guys. We're gonna talk about your small business tax credit update and tax and credit update. That's what we're gonna talk about today for your small business. This is gonna be very exciting and very important. To some degree, it can put money in a lot of small business pockets. And this is what we talk about all the time, is making sure that you can get some more money back in your pocket or pay less taxes or pay less penalty. So that's really the key here, because obviously you can spend a whole lot of time in your business, build it up, make a whole lot of money, and at the end of the day have nothing left, right? And that is not what we are about, okay? So we're always talking about things that will allow you to be able to keep more money, put money in your pocket, and of course, credits is something that comes back to you. And so we want to make sure that you guys take advantage of all that stuff. Hey, Andy. Hello, my lovely auntie. Thanks for jumping in. Hey, track 213. How you guys doing over here at IG? I welcome you guys today. Hit like and share so we can get some folks up in here. So we're going to talk about the tax and credit update for the small business folks. And again, I'm always reiterating this. When we speak small business, you don't have to have a corporation, guys. If you're an independent contractor, this applies to you. And most of you guys out there are independent contractors. So just want to make sure that you guys know that. So when we're speaking about this stuff, just make sure that you take notes, because it is your business, right? If you're an owner person, sole proprietor, this is a part of what we're talking about today. Very important. All right, so let's talk about the first point today. We'll talk about three things. One of them has to do with the tax deadline. We'll talk about estimated taxes. This is how you're going to save penalty if you owe taxes at the end. And one of the biggest thing I want to talk about today, guys, stick around. This is going to be the employee retention credit. And this credit can be up to $10,000 per quarter per employee. You guys really want to hear about this if you have a payroll. Okay, so stick around to the end. You'll get the good stuff at the end of this. Let's jump right into this. First point today, guys, the tax deadline. First point today, we want to talk about the tax deadline. And for those of you who had filed an extension for your corporation, and as a sole proprietor, if you filed an extension, the tax deadline is October the 15th. Okay, October the 15th, and there's no other deadline. And again, this is for C corporation and sole proprietor. So that's why I'm saying, you sole proprietor folks, we're talking about you. You don't have to be incorporated. If you're running a small business, this is about you as well. If you filed an extension on for the deadline from April the 15th of this year, it was from April 15th this year, the extension deadline is 6 months. October 15th is when you must file your tax return. Now, sole proprietor folks, those are the individual who file your business taxes on your Schedule C. And you are also you have to file your tax return, because the personal taxes, the extension deadline is October 15th as well. If you're a sole proprietor filing your business on your Schedule C, that means your business taxes technically is also due on October the 15th. Okay, so guys, October 15th deadline, C corporation, personal individual taxes, and sole proprietor tax returns that you file in your Schedule C is all due by October the 15th. There's no other extension. Okay, now this is what happens if you miss this October 15th deadline and you have money coming back to you. If the government owes you money for any reason at all, you would not be charged a penalty. Okay, but you have to know this. So if you're not going to owe any money and you miss the deadline, you're fine. But if you are going to owe money, if you're a corporation or your personal Schedule C business or any individual is going to owe money, you want to file your taxes as soon as possible. So if you miss the deadline, just don't give up and say, okay, well, I'll just do it next year. That does not work. I have people asking me all the time, if I miss my tax deadline, can I just file it all next year? Well, if you owe taxes, guys, you're going to be paying interest and penalty every single month until those taxes are filed and until those taxes are paid. So you want to file them as soon as possible. So don't wait and say, I'll just do it next year when I file my other taxes, because now you have already surmounted all of your interest and penalty on the amount that you owe, right? So we want to make sure that that does not happen to you. October 15th, tax deadline, C corporation, sole proprietor, and individual taxes, October 15th. Okay, so that's the first thing we want to talk about today. All right, say thanks for jumping on here, Thomas Zero. Thank you for jumping in. All right, guys, so let's talk about the second point today. Second point today is the estimated business taxes. Now, this one is so important, guys. Estimated taxes. A lot of folks doesn't operate from a place where they are staying ahead of their tax situation. And you should, because by doing so, you can now file estimated taxes, pay your taxes in advance, and it will cost you a whole lot less penalty than paying it all in the end. Okay, and this is what a lot of us love to do, and that is not the smartest thing to do. We're wasting a lot of money in penalties when we do this. Estimated taxes, guys, let me tell you when those are due. So the first estimated tax payment is usually due on April the 15th. The second one is due on June the 15th, right? The third one is due September 15th. And then the fourth estimated taxes, these are quarterly. So every 3 months, depending on how much money you make, you're paying these estimated taxes. And the fourth one is due like on January 18th of 2022. Now, if you haven't made the first or the second estimated taxes, don't just give up. You can make an estimated taxes anytime you go ahead. If you haven't made September 15th, don't pay in any taxes, because at the end, the more money you pay in advance, the less penalty you pay at the end. Okay, very important. Now, I've gotten a call in the last week, actually, from a client who had gotten an additional penalty from filing their taxes. And they want to know why they file on time and they still got a late filing penalty. Well, the reason for that is because they owe taxes. And your taxes, if it wasn't paid in advance, this is why you do estimated taxes. The government want the money in advance. They need the money up front. When you make the money, they want their share of the money right now. They don't need for you to hold on to it and pay it later. That's why you're penalized. Okay, so you need to, one, do your accounting. Have to do that. Make sure you do your accounting. You will not know how much money you make, how much taxes you might owe at the end if you don't do your accounting. So keep track of your accounting, know how much money you're going to make, estimate the taxes that would be due on the monies that you make, and make those payments, right? Quarterly. Again, it does two things. It keeps you from owing a whole lot at the end and paying it all at once, which most of the time we don't have all this money at one time, right? The penalty is more because you're paying it way late. And of course, the government wants it early. So if you pay a little at a time, every quarter, you send some money in based on your income. You have to project your income, and you must do the accounting so you know what the money is, what your profit is, and what your taxes are going to be. Okay, so very important, guys. You run the business. We got to be efficient about this stuff, right? Very important. We want to stay in business. We want to make money and keep the money. Okay, so how you guys doing over here in IG? Thanks for jumping in here. Karen, thanks for jumping on. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Elaine. All right, guys. So that's the second point, the estimated tax payment. And the third point today, and this one is super important, guys. Those of you who have a payroll, again, it doesn't matter how many people is on your payroll. This is so important. This is credit. This is monies that you don't have to pay the government, or monies you can get back on your payroll taxes. This is very important, right? Let's see, the third point is up there, employer retention credit. That's what we're talking about on the third point, number 3, employer retention and credit. So, guys, the stimulus bill that was signed in December changed the employer retention credit. And what the employer retention credit is, once you have an employee, as an employer, you have to pay a certain amount of employer payroll taxes into the government. So you pay your employee their salary, and you deduct your taxes, but then as an employer, you pay a certain amount of employee taxes to the government, which is your share of those taxes. So the employee retention credit, guys, is a credit that the government is giving to all employers for qualified wages paid to employees. This credit is super huge. You want to listen to it. There have been some changes that took place in December of 2020. And the changes that did take place in December of 2020 is that they extended the employee retention credit through 2021, not just to the COVID year of 2020. They extended through 2021, right? And what happened is you can get up to $7,000, which they have increased, per employee per quarter of qualified wages paid to these employees. So if you're an employer and you're paying employees and there's employer taxes involved, you can pretty much wipe out your portion of those employer taxes by taking this credit. And the credit for qualified wages paid to employees is full-time employees or part-time employees. It doesn't really matter. This is super important, guys. And what they have done is they have increased the credit that you can get in 2021. Super important for people who have employees, okay? And the second thing is that you have to have lost money. You have had to lost money. But what they did do was, instead of before, when they had this credit in place in 2020, it means that you have had to have lost at least 50% of your revenue. What that means is if you made half the money you did in 2020 that you did in 19 before the COVID year, then you're qualified. So with the new changes that was signed into law in December, they changed that from 50% to 80%. So you only have to have lost 20% of the money that you made before COVID. So now you can be qualified even easier than you would have in 2020. Now, this might sound like a whole lot, but just as an example, if you made $100,000 in 2019, let's say, now if your earnings dropped to 80,000, you're qualified. Before the new law, it had to drop 50%, which was a lot. Most people, you had to have been closed down, and a lot of stuff took place, which did happen to some employers. But now, instead of 50%, 20% drop in revenue. So if you made $100,000 and you made $80,000, you could be qualified for the employee retention credit. Again, like I said, that credit is up to $7,000 per employee per quarter. And for each employee, you can get $28,000. Guys, this is huge. Any of you guys have a payroll and you're paying employer taxes, you know this is huge. This is what get a lot of businesses in trouble because they owe these payroll taxes. So a lot of companies are in trouble with tax problems because of payroll taxes. So by having this credit, it is so helpful, okay? So the other thing is they have increased the number of employees. If you have up to 500, first it was 100, the new law changed it up to 500, you're still qualified. And the most beautiful thing about this is if you have gotten the PPP loan, right, and it was forgiven, any wages that you paid that wasn't covered with the PPP loan is now qualified. So before that, if you had gotten PPP loan, you weren't qualified to take this credit. Now, wages that was not paid with that loan is still qualified. So they're making it so much easier to claim this credit. Huge credit, huge credit. All right. So, and then I've got even better news. If you have just started your business in 2019, you didn't have to be in business for a very long time, you are still qualified to take this credit. So this is huge, guys. Make a note of this. If you're not an employer with employees and you have anyone that is, you want to share this with them because this is huge credit. And a lot of times, see, this is the thing. If you don't know this stuff, you don't take advantage of it. And then, of course, you always spend a lot of money, pay a lot more money, don't get the credit you deserve because you simply don't know, right? That's always what happens if you don't know. You lose out on a lot of stuff we do, okay? So I'm not going to make this any more complicated. I want to leave it right there. So that's the 3 points today, guys. Again, we're talking about tax and credit update for your small business. And let me just recap real quick. The first one is the tax deadline. I must reiterate this. October 15th, if you did an extension for your small business, sole proprietor, or you independent contractors out there, you got to get your taxes filed by October 15th. The individuals and all the C corporation taxes are due If you were an S corporation or a partnership or an LLC, you should have filed your taxes by now because that deadline passed in September 15th. So hopefully you took care of that. But if you are a C corporation, now is your time to make sure those taxes are in, and the sole proprietor and personal income taxes, October 15th. Okay. Estimated tax payments, guys, so important. So many of us don't take advantage of trying to pay taxes a little at a time. Every quarter, pay something in. The government want the money in advance. They penalize you heavily if you hold on to their money and you pay it later. That is exactly what they don't want you to do. And to do so, make sure that you keep your books and records, do accounting, so you know what your profit is, so you can estimate whether you got to send them $5,000 or whether you got to send them $1,000 every 3 months, okay? So pay attention to that. Save a lot of penalties and a lot of interest. That's the second point today. And the estimated tax payments, again, are due April 15th. June 15th, September 15th, and January 18th, 2022. If you miss estimated payment, you can still go ahead and make some payments. You can still go ahead and make sure the government gets some money in sooner than later. Okay, save you a lot of money. And third point today, guys, the employee retention credit. We want to make sure that we take advantage of this credit. If you're an employer, employee taxes, employer portion of those taxes, you can wipe it all out. You can get this credit. If you already file your payroll taxes, you can go back and still claim this credit. You can even get the credit in advance. You can even get money up front from that credit. This is super huge. So make sure that you find out more about this credit. Okay, there's more about this credit. I actually did, I think, a whole session on that. Well, we can do more. If you have any questions about any of this stuff, I want to make sure that you guys get those answered, because you obviously cannot do what you don't know, right? So that's what we're here to help you with. Okay, so that is my point today. Again, tax and credit updates for your small business. Hit like and share this video. Make sure everyone take advantage of this information. And you guys, I want to advise you that keep your notification on, because you will be able to share this great information that we're sharing here with your personal and your business. And the idea is for you to make money, but keep more money in your pocket so that you can continue to build wealth, okay? So if you have any questions about this stuff, give us a call at PROBY'S Tax and Accounting, 323-290-9034, and or visit our website at PROBY'Stax.com. If you haven't filed your taxes, I think at PROBY'S you may have a few more days to be able to get your information in, to even be able to get your taxes done by October 15th. I think it's the end of this week. You'd want to get it into us. You can go to our website, our client portal, upload your information, make sure it's in there by the end of the week so we can take care of your tax return. I think Andy have something over here he'd like to say. Understanding of that information. Okay, understanding of this info. All right, and all those numbers is very important. Okay, it's amazing, right? Is that what you're saying? Okay, I'm in it right now. I mean, you're in class. You're in the right class. That's right. Thank you, Auntie. I sincerely appreciate you in the right class. This is it. This is the class. This is where you want to be at. Information, information, information. All right. So it said Thursday at 1 p.m. Stimulus check updates. Thursday at 1 p.m. That's what we'll be talking about. I know you guys want to hear this, so make sure you come back here and share this with your friends. Stimulus check update. We're always talking about that. We always want to know what's going on. Is there more stimulus? Where is it coming from? How much it is? Who's getting it? When is it going out? You know, this is so important because we are, you know, still in pandemic era. So people are still trying to get back on their feet. Okay. So all this information is important. Okay. So I think that's it. That I covered. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you come right back here. All right. Stimulus check update. I love it. I love it. All right, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. I will see you guys back here on Thursday at 1 p.m. With that said, I would like for you guys to have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday afternoon. And you guys take care of each other and take care of yourself.